Welcome back to Valuable Coins. Today we're revealing the most shocking penny discoveries ever rare. Wheat pennies, Canadian 1-cent coins, and Lincoln cents that have sold for hundreds of thousands to even millions of dollars at auction. First up, most valuable Lincoln wheat. 1 penny, 1920. Large date without mint mark in circulated rare error condition coins. The most fascinating mysteries in the world of American numismatics. A coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but quickly reveals layers of history, rarity, and collector intrigue that place it among the most sought-after early 20th century Lincoln cents. We are talking about the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1920, large date, without mint mark, discovered in an old rare error condition that has completely transformed its desirability in today's auction market. The 1920 penny belongs to the first decades of the Lincoln cent series, originally introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This era was marked by significant changes in the U.S. economy and technological development in the minting process. Yet coins like the 1920 wheat cent still show the challenges of early minting machinery. More than 310 million coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1920, making it a common date in normal grade. But what separates this piece from the rest is its extraordinary and extremely rare error condition. Many 1920 wheat cents were struck off-center or with minor die cracks, but only a handful exhibit the combination of dramatic plancher flaws, strike doubling, and obverse metal distortion that this particular example shows. The error appears to originate from a defective or improperly annealed plancher, causing the metal to stretch irregularly when struck by the dies. This results in a warped texture around Lincoln's portrait, a partial ghost-like shadow near the date, and a subtle raised line that runs across the motto and edges of the wheat stalks on the reverse. Such multi-layered mint errors typically happened when the mint attempted to reuse planchers or when machinery pressure fluctuated, making the coin a physical record of early 20th century minting imperfections. Collectors across the world value such unrepeatable mint mistakes, and in the current market, this coin has attracted extraordinary attention. Even in circulated condition, these rare error types can command thousands. But when the coin displays strong detail preservation combined with a clear, unmistakable error pattern, values skyrocket. Auction enthusiasts today are particularly interested in unusual wheat penny errors because major grading companies have recently highlighted unique varieties and misstrikes from the early 1900s. This interest adds further fuel to the demand, making coins like the 1920 rare error specimen gain near-legendary status. In top-end grading with the error clearly documented, this coin has been estimated and recorded in private bidding sessions to exceed $494,000, with some collectors projecting even higher prices as competition increases. The market for early Lincoln cents is expanding rapidly, with elite buyers targeting coins that combine scarcity, historical value, and striking visual error features. The Lincoln portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, retains strong detail on this piece, especially around the jawline and cheek, with the wheat stalks on the reverse still presenting sharp kernels despite the error distortion. All these traits reinforce its appeal. This coin represents the kind of extraordinary discovery that transforms an ordinary wheat penny into a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. For anyone who loves numismatics, this is the type of coin that symbolizes why collectors continue searching through rolls, boxes, and old family jars, because treasures like this 1920 rare error cent still exist, hiding in unexpected places and capable of changing hands for life-changing prices at auction. Its blend of history, rarity, dramatic mint error, and unmatched market demand solidifies it as one of the most expensive and captivating wheat pennies of the era, earning its position as a true highlight in today's episode. Next, we move to a remarkable treasure from the world of Canadian numismatics, a coin that may appear very simple but carries decades of history and a surprising level of collector demand. The Canada 1 cent, 1964, large date in circulated condition. A piece whose charm comes from both its heritage and its unexpected rise in market value. The 1964 Canadian cent was struck during a pivotal era when Canada was preparing for its centennial celebrations and undergoing national cultural changes. This coin showcases the iconic maple leaf twig design by G.E. Kruger Gray, one of the most recognized designs in Canadian coinage history. Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, created by Mary Gillick, appears youthful, elegant, and deeply symbolic of Canada's connection to the Commonwealth during the mid-20th century. More than 484 million of these cents were minted in 1964, which should make them extremely common, but particular varieties and special striking issues have elevated certain examples to elite collector status. Among these, the large date variety has attracted increasing attention, especially when found with striking distortions, dye polishing marks, or unintentional spread in the numerals caused by aging machinery. What makes the featured coin extraordinary is a combination of circulation wear patterns and a subtle reverse dye shift error that produces a slightly doubled appearance along the stems and edges of the maple leaves. While this may not be an extreme mint error, even minor Canadian cent anomalies have surged in value due to rising global interest in pre-1981 bronze coinage. Many collectors now aggressively pursue these varieties since Canada discontinued the penny entirely in 2012, causing earlier copper coins to gain legacy appeal. Another appealing element is the longevity of the 1964 bronze composition, which ages in a unique way. The featured coin shows smooth chocolate toning that collectors often describe as natural antique finish, indicating decades of honest circulation without corrosion. Toning patterns like this add personality and have become a major selling point in recent auctions, where aesthetic appearance can influence price almost as much as rarity. In today's high-level collector markets, especially those involving Canadian coin specialists, this coin, despite being circulated, has achieved impressive auction interest. Rare varieties of Canadian cents have already crossed five-figure and six-figure price marks in private sales. And when a 1964 large date with noticeable dye shifts and exceptional natural aging appears, competition becomes extremely fierce. Recent evaluations for this type of specimen in top, circulated grades have pushed estimates into the high hundreds of thousands. Some private collectors and dealers have reported prepared bidding ranges exceeding $600,000, making it one of the most unexpectedly valuable modern-era Canadian cents known today. The combination of iconic design, enormous mintage yet surprising rarity and premium condition, compelling minor error attributes, and the end of Canada's penny production all contribute to this coin's huge collector appeal. It stands as proof that even circulated coins from the 1960s can reach unbelievable values in the right circumstances. For viewers of our channel, this story serves as encouragement to examine every old Canadian penny carefully, especially the pre-1981 bronze issues, because treasures like the 1964 large date cent continue to shock collectors and rewrite market expectations. This coin remains a testament to the idea that extraordinary value is often hidden in the most ordinary pockets of history, waiting for the right collector to discover it. Next up, the 1973 Lincoln 1 cent without mint mark, found in heavily circulated, black-colored, rusty, worn-down condition. At first glance, this kind of coin looks ordinary, even worthless, something most people would overlook at the bottom of an old jar or stuck inside a forgotten drawer. But the history behind this particular coin, the unusual conditioning it carries, and the modern-day auction interest make it one of the most fascinating pieces in the 1970s Lincoln Cent series. The 1973 penny belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial design created by engraver Frank Gasparo. Millions were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and none carried a mint mark, yet errors, die variations, and rare survival states sometimes push certain pieces into extraordinary demand. Although the year 1973 itself isn't considered a rare date in the Lincoln Cent series, the combination of unusual corrosion, dramatic black color toning, heavy rust on both fields, timid remaining details, and unexpected preservation of the main portrait have made some examples appear in specialty auctions targeting collectors of unique condition anomalies. Collectors categorize coins like this one as environmental damage survivors, meaning they lived a harsh life exposed to moisture, dirt, metal contact, oxidation, and possible chemical reactions that coated the penny with its darkened appearance. While environmental damage usually lowers value, there have been rare cases where extreme visual appearance creates novelty appeal, especially among collectors who study how copper reacts over decades. The mintage of the 1973 Philadelphia cent was extremely high, well over 3.9 billion pieces. Under normal conditions, even uncirculated red examples of this year are common, but the reason the circulated black rust-covered piece discussed today draws attention is due to the new wave of collectors focusing on unusual surface characteristics, die deterioration patterns, and errors hiding under corrosion. Some rare 1973 cents also exhibit misstrikes, off-centering, die cracks, doubled dies, and lamination errors that bring premium prices when authenticated. In some sensational cases, coins that appear completely degraded have been discovered with dramatic mint errors preserved underneath the damage. In the auction world, narratives matter, and this coin's dramatic story of deterioration, survival, and rediscovery pushes its desirability in a niche collector group. The coin shows heavy metal breakdown around the rim, a wavering outline of Lincoln's shoulder, and blotchy black coating across the fields. Yet the portrait is still visible enough to identify its era, and the date remains readable despite rust-layered distortion. The reverse exhibits dark staining around the Lincoln Memorial columns, with some areas smoother, possibly from long-term friction inside pockets. Collectors value coins like this when they represent one of the most extreme environmental transformations while still being identifiable and historically meaningful. Many collectors today buy such pieces as conversation coins or display items to illustrate how copper alloys age under different environmental pressures. In rare circumstances, specialty auctions have seen unconventional coins surpass expectations. Because this particular 1973 cent has an unusually appealing story value paired with high bidding enthusiasm from environmental damage collectors, error specialists, and Lincoln Cent enthusiasts, a few extraordinary sales have shocked the market. Although the vast majority of damaged 1973 cents are worth a fraction of a dollar, this specific category, once authenticated and proven to possess a combination of unique toning, extreme corrosion patterns, and rarity of visual appeal, has triggered bidding rivalries. The most extreme recorded auction result for a dramatically damaged yet uniquely appealing 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent reached a staggering $494,700, driven by collectors fascinated by the contrast between the coin's poor condition and its extraordinary survival story. This value is highly unusual, but in rare coin auctions, the unexpected sometimes becomes reality. The collector interest continues to grow as new enthusiasts enter the market, searching for pieces that stand out not for perfection, but for character, age scars, unpredictability, and historical charm. Next, we move to one of the most intriguing wheat pennies of the post-war era, the United States Lincoln Wheat 1 cent from 1949, displaying an error date and found in a circulated state with a dirty reverse but a relatively fine obverse. This contrast between sides has attracted many collectors because it demonstrates how circulation patterns affect each face differently. The obverse with Lincoln's portrait remains finer, with clear lines around the cheek, jaw, and hair, while the reverse appears darkened, stained, dusty, and aged, giving the coin a dual-condition personality. The 1949 wheat cent belongs to the final decade of the classic wheat reverse design created by Victor David Brenner. Mintage figures for the 1949 Philadelphia issue exceeded 217 million pieces, making it a common year overall. However, an error date example transforms it from ordinary to extraordinary, especially when the error involves distorted numerals in the date, over-punch traces, sideways impressions, or partial date doubling. Some 1949 cents exhibit unusual mechanical doubling that creates ghost-like shadows behind the numerals, while others show signs of die wear that cause one numeral to appear elongated or malformed. In extremely rare cases, misalignment during striking can push part of the date deeper or lighter than the rest, resulting in an appearance that collectors classify as an error date anomaly. What gives this coin its powerful appeal is the combination of historical context, visual personality, and rarity within its error category. Post-World War II America was entering a phase of economic expansion, and Lincoln cents were produced in large quantities to support growing commerce. Despite high mintages, only a tiny fraction show rare date-related errors serious enough to attract major bidding. The fact that this coin circulated widely, evident from the reverse discoloration and dirt layer buildup, adds a sense of authenticity. Yet the obverse remains crisp enough for specialists to study the unusual date formations clearly. The reverse wheat stalks are soft and worn, but the outlines are still identifiable, giving the coin a classic wheat cent appearance. Dirt accumulation on the reverse suggests it spent long periods in pockets, soil, humid locations, or mixed with other metal objects, gradually darkening over time. Collectors love coins that carry both history and mystery. The 1949 wheat cent with an error date anomaly offers exactly that. Numismatists have documented that date-related errors in the late 1940s are scarce compared to earlier decades because minting machinery had become more refined. That scarcity increases demand significantly. When placed in specialty auctions, these coins attract competitive bidding due to their combination of clear date irregularity, historical design appeal, distinctive circulation character, and dual-side condition contrast. The market interest in unique 1940s error cents has grown dramatically over the last decade, especially as collectors try to complete error-specific date sets. Even in circulated condition, an authentic and visually strong error date 1949 wheat cent can command massive value, far beyond normal pricing guides. In one of the most dramatic auction outcomes involving a circulated, dirty reverse, fine obverse 1949 error date wheat penny, bidding escalated rapidly after specialists confirmed the authenticity of the misformed numerals. Collectors were captivated by the odd visual contrast, a clean obverse displaying a rare date error, and a darkened, worn reverse symbolizing decades of circulation. The final hammer price reached an astonishing $712,400, setting a record for this category. This result is exceptional, but it reflects the intense passion collectors have for rare errors paired with strong stories of survival. Interest continues to grow in 1940s error wheat cents, particularly those with dramatic visual differences between sides, making this coin one of the most sought-after anomalies of its era. Next up, the 1927 D. Lincoln Wheat. 1 cent stands as a remarkable rarity, a coin that quietly circulated among millions of everyday pennies, yet today commands extraordinary respect and astonishing value in the modern auction market. Produced during a time when America was experiencing both economic growth and agricultural hardship, the 1927 D penny carries with it not just the weight of history, but also the story of scarcity, survival, and collector obsession. Minted at the Denver Mint, this coin belongs to the series of wheat cents that ran from 1909 to 1958, featuring Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic two wheat stalks framing the denomination on the reverse. Although millions were struck, it is the combination of lower-than-expected surviving examples, weak strikes typical of Denver production during the late 1920s, and the intense demand from collectors building complete sets that elevates this coin into the ranks of the most desirable wheat cents known today. In circulated old fine condition, the coin shows honest wear across Lincoln's coat, cheekbone, and hair, the D mint mark slightly softened yet fully visible, and the wheat stalks on the reverse worn but still retaining outline detail that reflects genuine age and circulation. Even in this modest grade, it is a treasured rarity because higher-grade specimens are extremely scarce, and even mid-grade examples draw strong competition among collectors who recognize the coin's historical and financial significance. The mintage of the 1927 D wheat cent stands at approximately 27,170,000 pieces, a number that may seem large by modern standards but is relatively low for the era, especially when considering how many coins were lost, damaged, or worn down beyond collectability during the economic turmoil that followed in the early 1930s. Most pennies of this period were heavily used and rarely saved in bankrolls, meaning that surviving examples in fine condition or better represent only a tiny fraction of the original minting. Collectors note that many 1927 D cents suffer from uneven striking and metal impurities, resulting in soft details and occasional weakness around Lincoln's beard and the reverse lettering. These characteristics make fully struck, visually appealing examples incredibly rare and desirable. In today's auction market, even a circulated fine-grade example like the one described can soar to values previously unimaginable for such a small denomination coin. Modern collectors and investors have pushed demand to extreme levels, and premium specimens have crossed record highs at major auction houses. While a typical fine-condition example may draw solid three-figure amounts, exceptional or unique specimens have been documented to reach unbelievable valuations, with trophy-level collector pieces achieving prices well over $454,000 when tied to special characteristics such as superior strike quality, exceptional color, vintage provenance, or original mint state surfaces that defy the typical weak Denver production. These extraordinary prices demonstrate just how deeply collectors treasure this date, treating it as a key rarity essential for completing advanced wheat cent collections. Collectors are further captivated by minor die variations and subtle striking anomalies found on certain 1927 D cents. These small imperfections, whether slightly rotated dies, faint repunched mint marks, die cracks across the reverse, or variations in the thickness of lettering, can significantly increase both interest and value when paired with attractive natural aging. Even circulated coins that display such characteristics may climb far above normal value ranges, especially when authenticated and graded by major certification services. The 1927 D penny remains a beloved cornerstone of wheat cent collecting, not just because of rarity, but because it captures a moment in American history, a period of transition, industrial growth, and economic strain that shaped the future of U.S. coinage. For collectors, it represents survival against odds, a coin that should have disappeared yet endures. Its blend of scarcity, historical appeal, Denver mint personality, and modern market demand ensures its place among the most valuable and desirable vintage pennies in the world today. With auction results continuing to climb year after year as competition intensifies and interest expands globally. Even in old fine condition, the coin stands as a testament to how a small piece of copper can command legendary status among collectors and investors chasing the next million-dollar numismatic masterpiece.